Hello students, welcome back again for online teaching mode. So today we are going to study about physical properties of mineral part 2. So we have already discussed in part 1, that is properties depending upon light. So properties depending upon light, we have discussed about color, streak, luster, affinity. So these are the properties depending upon light. So now today we are going to see physical properties of mineral depending upon cohesive and elasticity. Cohesive and elasticity means when a mineral goes through pressure, goes under pressure, or when you apply the pressure, that may be like hammering the mineral, or we can say scratching the mineral. So what's its behavior after that? That is nothing but properties depending upon cohesive and elasticity. So one by one we'll study now. First and the most important property of mineral depending upon cohesion and elasticity is hardness. So hardness is very important diagnostic property of mineral. Defined as the resistance to scratching and abrasion. When you scratch the mineral or abrade the mineral, its resistance is nothing but hardness. So hardness is a relative scale. Mineral with higher number will scratch mineral below them. So mineral which has higher hardness will scratch the mineral which has low hardness. So it is determined by a Mohs hardness scale. Mohs is a scientist from America. He has discovered, or he has prepared one scale, hardness scale, that is called Mohs hardness scale, wherein we have 10 minerals. You can see here 10 minerals are there, from 1 to 10. So first one is talc, then gypsum, calcite, fluorite, apatite, orthoclase, quartz, topaz, corundum, diamond. So that means what? Talc is the softest one and diamond is the hardest one. Okay. So suppose if you this orthoclase, if you want to orthoclase hardness 6, this mineral can scratch apatite, but this cannot scratch quartz, because quartz is harder than orthoclase, but quartz can scratch orthoclase because orthoclase has less hardness. Okay. So suppose if you have unknown mineral, you have taken one mineral, you don't know the hardness of that particular mineral. How to find out the hardness of that particular mineral? So this will be set with you. This there will be hardness box wherein all the minerals will be there in that particular box. So suppose unknown mineral is there. You have to take unknown mineral in your hand, okay, and take first mineral from this hardness box, that is talc, and scratch that mineral on unknown mineral. Scratch that mineral, talc mineral, on unknown mineral. If suppose this talc, that is known mineral, scratches or powders on unknown mineral, that means hardness of unknown mineral is more than talc. So you have to take now, obviously if the talc is powdering on this particular unknown mineral, that means hardness is more. Then take the next mineral, that is gypsum. You have to take the mineral until and unless you will get the scratch on this unknown mineral. Suppose you have taken orthoclase, that is 6 hardness, that is known 6 hardness, and scratched on unknown mineral. It is powdering, the orthoclase is powdering. And if you take 7th mineral, next number is 7th mineral, that is quartz, and this quartz is scratching this unknown mineral. That means what? The hardness is between 6 and 7, that may be 6.5. So like this you can find out the hardness of any mineral. Suppose if you don't have hardness box, still you can find out the hardness up to 6 to 6.5, 6 to 6.5 to 7. So how to find out? You will be having our fingernail has hardness 7.5. Suppose if you have one mineral, here you can see gypsum it is, and gypsum can scratch, our nail can scratch gypsum, you can see here. That means the hardness of gypsum is less than 2.5. Obviously it may be 2 or 1.5, whatever it may be. That may be talc. Talc can be scratched by nail. So you will get an idea about hardness idea, like if it is scratching by nail, that is hardness is less than 2.5. If it is your nail is powdering on that unknown mineral, that means hardness is more than 2.5. Then next, if you must be having penny, copper penny, that has hardness 3.5. Okay, like this you have glass as having 5.5. And the stick plate, we have discussed in last class what is stick plate. It is used to find out the stick of the mineral, that has hardness 6.5. So with the help of those minerals, you can find out the hardness of mineral up to 7. Okay, if you don't have the hardness box. I hope you understood the hardness scale. The next important property of mineral, physical property of mineral, is cleavage and parting. So cleavage is a easy breakage of mineral along a plane surface. So it is a plane of weakness. I can tell you, it is a plane of weakness along which mineral can break easily. So I will discuss in next slide in detail. It is a characteristic of some minerals to break into flat sheets along the certain planes. So very easiest way I will tell you. Suppose one mineral is there. Okay. Suppose mineral is there. Okay. And if it is breaking along this plane, okay, easily, that means after breaking this will show a plane surface. After breaking it will show plane surface. So this plane is nothing but plane of weakness or cleavage. So it is a plane of weakness along which mineral can break easily. And parting occurs along the twin planes. I will discuss in later classes what is twin planes. So cleavages can be of 3 types: perfect cleavage, distinct cleavage, or indistinct cleavage. So perfect cleavage means what? It is after breaking the mineral or along the plane, mineral surface will be shiny. That is nothing but perfect cleavage. If suppose after breaking it is showing some irregular step like thing, that is nothing but distinct. And indistinct means what? After breaking the surface, it doesn't show any plane surface. It will be zigzag or rough surface. Okay. So here you can see one mineral is there, that is mica. Mica mineral is there. So this mineral will break as a sheets. Like how you peel the paper or how you turn the paper, like that this mineral can be turned like that. Means what? Along the particular plane, this mineral can break easily. But this can break only in a one way, and because of that this mica has one set of cleavage. Wherein we have another minerals like we have orthoclase, which has 2 sets of cleavage. Means what? Along two weak planes, mineral can break easily. Like another is there 3 sets of cleavage. That means another in 3 ways or 3 planes, mineral can break easily. In next slide I will show you some important pictures. So this mineral you can see here, this mineral can break along this plane. You can see here, along this plane this mineral can break very easily. But if you want to break like this, it will be very, very difficult. So why? Because the plane of weakness is along this particular plane. Here you can see mica, again it is showing a plane surface after breaking. This is the calcite. This calcite can break in 3 ways. Calcite can break 3 ways. One plane is there, second plane is there, and another plane is on top. So 3 planes are there along which this mineral can break easily. But this is the orthoclase. This orthoclase can break along this plane and along this plane. So 2 sets of cleavages are there. So I hope I understood. Cleavage is nothing but along a particular plane, mineral can break very, very easily. Here you can see this is the mica. Along this plane, this you can see here, along this plane, this mineral can split very easily. Mineral can split very easily. So uh, this has one set of cleavage, one plane of cleavage is there. Okay. So calcite, you can say, I told you calcite, it has three sets of cleavage. Along another is on like this. So 1, 2, 3 cleavages are there. So then cleavage is halite has two sets of cleavage. Sorry, three sets of cleavage. 1, 2, and another is there. Three sets of cleavage are there. But orthoclase, I told you. This is orthoclase which has two sets of cleavage. Mineral can break like this or like this. So I hope you understood cleavage. Okay. So next one is fracture. Other than cleavage, like cleavages will be showing after breaking there will be plane surface. Other than cleavage is nothing but fracture, or in simple words I can tell you, broken surface of the mineral is nothing but fracture. Okay, so there are four types of fractures: conchoidal fracture, Hackley fracture, or jagged and sharp. There will be jagged and sharp edges will be there. Fibrous or splintery, then uneven or irregular. So these are the types of fractures. So one by one we'll see the examples of this one. So another I have not mentioned here, that is even fracture. Even fracture. Even fracture. So even fracture means what? Fracture surface which is almost flat. So after breaking the mineral, or broken surface of the mineral will be very flat. Okay, that is nothing but even fracture. So there is a uneven, that is rough or irregular surface. After breaking the surface will be irregular. That is nothing but that is uneven fracture or irregular fracture. Hackley means what? After breaking there will be edges or sharp edges will be there. So that is nothing but Hackley. Then conchoidal fracture, after breaking there will be curved surface, like conchoidal shape will be there, or curved surface will be there. Like example I can give you glass. After breaking the glass, how the curved surface will be formed, that is nothing but conchoidal fracture, and this is shown by a quartz mineral. And many minerals are there, but one of the example is quartz mineral. So here you can see terms such as even, uneven, conchoidal, or subconchoidal are used to define the fracture. For example, one of the example is here, that is quartz. Quartz you can see here, after breaking, this one is the quartz. After breaking, it is showing curved surface. So this fracture is conchoidal. Here also you can see curved surface is there. This is also conchoidal fracture. But this one is breaking along a particular plane, that is even fracture. So after breaking, it is showing plane surface. Here you can see it is breaking the mineral and showing the partially curved surface. Partially means almost it is not clear curved surface, but it is a clear curved surface. That is called as subconchoidal fracture. Subconchoidal fracture. It is almost conchoidal, but it is not fully conchoidal. So next one is tenacity. So we have completed cleavage, fracture, hardness. So now next one is tenacity. Tenacity is very interesting and very important property of mineral. So resistance that offered of that mineral offers to breaking, crushing, bending, or cutting, or other acts of destruction. So in general, when you apply the pressure on this mineral, on any mineral, maybe breaking the mineral, bending the mineral, crushing the mineral, cutting the mineral, so we are applying the pressure. So after applying the pressure, its result is nothing but tenacity. Okay, its result is nothing but tenacity. What is behavior after applying the pressure? Okay, example. There are 6 to 7 properties are there, or properties, tenacities are there. So first one is brittle. Brittle means what? When you break the mineral, it will break into pieces, small pieces. Like example I can give you, if you break the glass, it will break into pieces. So tenacity is brittle. Tenacity is brittle. Okay, next one is elastic. So elastic means what? When you apply the pressure, suppose it's a mineral, when you apply the pressure from both the side, okay, and pull apart, it will stretch, but when you release the pressure, it will come to again original position. So this is nothing but elastic mineral. Then friable means what? Next one is friable. Friable means what? Crumbly disintegration. Crumbly means what? If you touch that particular mineral, after touching only it will break into pieces. After breaking it, no need to give any extra force, extra pressure. Just you have to touch that mineral and the mineral will break into pieces. That is about friable. Then Hackley. After breaking the mineral to show jagged surface or thorn surface. Okay. Then malleable. Malleable means what? When you apply the pressure on this part in some minerals, it doesn't break. It will get a flatten. It will get a flat. Suppose this is a mineral. When you apply the pressure, okay, it doesn't get into break, but it will flatten up. It will spread up like a duff. Okay, like a duff. When you apply the pressure on duff, what will happen? It will become flattened. So this property is nothing but malleable. Then ductile. Ductile means what? So minerals are there from which we can easily take out the wires. Easily take out the small thin wires. Almost all the metals show ductile property. Almost all metals show ductile property. Then sectile. Sectile means what? We can easily cut the mineral into thin sheets with knife, or thin slices we can make with the help of knife. So like a cake, if you how you cut the cake, like that we can cut the minerals with knife. That property is nothing but sectile. This property is shown by gypsum. Tough. It is very difficult to break. After hammering also it will not break into pieces. That is nothing but tough tenacity. So I hope you understood tenacity. So next one is crystal form. Crystal form is nothing but it is the external expression of the internal ordered arrangement of atoms. So the atoms will be arranged inside the mineral. That gives you external shape or appearance, you can say. So this is nothing but crystal form. Okay. So there are 6 crystal forms: isometric system, tetragonal system, orthorhombic system, hexagonal system, monoclinic system, and triclinic system. So these are the systems which can be shown by a particular mineral, any of these 6. So one by one we'll discuss. First one is isometric system. In crystal form, there will be axis. You can see this is a mineral. Suppose this is a mineral, a square mineral is there. From this is called face. This is also called face, and this one is called edge. This is called edge, and inside there is from top face to bottom face, one axis will be there, imaginary axis, and from front face to back face another axis will be there. Side face to side face another axis will be there. So there are 3 axes here. So those are called crystallographic axis. So in isometric system, all the crystallographic axes are of same size. Same size means same length, you can say. Okay, and which makes 90 degrees to each other. So angle between these two, maybe C and A axis will be 90 degree, or B and A axis will be 90 degree, or C or B angle will be 90 degrees. So each mineral will make, each axis will make 90 degrees to each other. Example of this mineral is pyrite. And the specific property of this isometric system is, I told you axis will be there. Axial length, I told you A is equal to B is equal to C. All lengths are equal. And the angle between these two, that is alpha, beta, gamma, angle between A and B and C, or C and B, that will be 90 degrees. So this is a pyrite mineral, you can see here. Next one is tetragonal. Here you can see, here all the axes are inclined, but here this horizontal axis, A and B axis are equal, but C axis is shorter or longer. It is, you can see, but it will not be equal to A and B. That is nothing but tetragonal system. And again this all the axes will be making 90 degrees to each other. Here you can see acceleration a is equal to b is equal to b is not equal to c. That means a is equal to b but not equal to c. And angle again they will make 90 degrees to each other. You can see here. Example is zircon. Zircon is a mineral which shows tetragonal system. Then next one is monoclinic. You can see here monoclinic. Monoclinic means what? I told you three axes are there, A, B, C. A, B, C you can see here. That A axis will be inclined. Suppose if you see from side, from here, this view, and if you draw the axis, this is the C axis, okay, and this is the A axis. It will make some angle to, and this from front to back it will be B. Side to side it will be B. So A axis and C axis will make some angle. It will not be 90 degrees. It will not be 90 degrees. But C and B angle will be 90 degrees. So you can see here the axial relation you can see here. And one more thing, all the axes are not equal. That is A is not equal to B is not equal to C. And angle you can see A is not alpha is not equal to gamma is equal to beta. So angle between A and C will not be 90 degrees, but alpha, beta and gamma will be equal. That is 90 degrees. Then last one is triclinic. Triclinic system have three axes which are of all different lengths. Again, all three axes are all different lengths, but here you can see two axes are, that is A and B, were making 90 degrees each other. But in this case, all the axes will make angle to each other. That is, here you can see angles are alpha is not equal to beta is not equal to gamma. So angle between the axis will not be same, and the length of the axis you can see here, A is not equal to B is not equal to C. So all the axes are unequal in length. Example is kyanite. An example for monoclinic is, you can see here, gypsum. I hope you understood the crystallography forms. So next one is orthorhombic system. Here you can see in isometric system and tetragonal system we had seen that in isometric system three axes were equal in size. All the three axes were equal in size. In tetragonal, horizontal axis were equal in size, but vertical axis was bigger, shorter or longer. In this case, all the three axes A, B, C are unequal in size. They are not unequal. Here you can see axial length relation, A is not equal to B is not equal to C. And but angles of alpha, beta, gamma, that is angle between A, B, AC and CB or AC, AB, they are making 90 degrees each other, like isometric and tetragonal. But the condition here is the A axis should be shorter than B axis. A axis should be shorter than B axis. That is one condition. And all should not be equal to, all should be unequal in size or length. Or C may be shorter or longer, but not equal to A and B. And example is topaz. The next one is hexagonal system. Hexagonal system, like isometric and tetragonal system and orthorhombic system, there were three axes. But in this case, there are four axes. One is vertical axis is there. This is a vertical axis. This one is vertical axis. Okay, and three horizontal axes are there. So very important point I want to mention here. The angle between vertical axis, that is ABC, is 120 degree. Okay. Angle between A and B, like that, it will be 60 degrees. So there will be 6 gaps. 6 into 6, 360. That is it is making 4 whole angle, that is 60 degrees, 360 degrees. But angle between D and horizontal axis, that is vertical axis and horizontal axis, that may be A and D, B and D, and C and D, it will be 90 degrees. It will be 90 degrees. But axial length, you can see here, A is equal to B is equal to C, but not equal to D. Obviously I told you A, B, C are horizontal axes which are equal in size, and D is shorter or longer. Angle, you can see alpha is equal to beta, that is 90 degrees, but gamma is equal to 120 degrees. So actually it is 60 degrees. It should be 60 degrees. Example is amethyst, that is quartz. Example is quartz. So I hope you understood crystal form. So next important property of mineral is specific gravity. So specific gravity is the ratio of mass of substance to the mass of equal volume of water. So you can see the formula, weight in air divided by weight in air minus weight in water, that is nothing but specific gravity. A mineral with specific gravity 4, suppose mineral has 4 specific gravity, that means it is 4 times heavier than water. It is 4 times heavier than water. So there are two methods are there from which we can find out the specific gravity. One is Volcker-Stillard balance and another is Joule-Spring balance. So we'll concentrate for your syllabus, we have only Volcker-Stillard balance, so we'll concentrate on that and we'll see how to find out the specific gravity with the help of this one. So here you can see this Volcker-Stillard. Here you can see there is a adjustment bar, scale bar is there, you can see here, and here there is a thread, this is thread, and here you can see a mineral, here mineral is there, okay, mineral is there, and this is thread which is attached to the bar. And what to do, very simple, weight in air, you can see the here formula is there, weight in air, that means here you can see one beaker is there, in that beaker there is a water, so you have to take the weight without this water, blind, I mean in air you have to take the here you can see you have to take the weight in air. So with the just you have to hang the mineral to the hanging bar and you have to take the weight, so we will get the weight in air. So same mineral you have to dip, like you can see this thread has dipped into water, and the same weight you have to take the in water you have to take the weight. So that weight you have, that is nothing but weight in water, same mineral, same mineral. So weight without water and with weight with water. So if you put those values in this particular formula, weight in air divided by weight in air minus weight in water, you will get the specific gravity. You will get a specific gravity. This is very simple instrument to use. So generally metallic minerals tend to have higher specific gravity and than the non-metallic minerals. So obviously metal will be having high specific gravity. Example, galena, that is Pb ore, lead ore, which has hardness 7.5, and the quartz, which is non-metal, which has hardness 2.67. So what is the meaning of 7.5? 7.5 means what? It is 7.5 times heavier than water, or 2.67 means 2.67 times more heavier than water. So some of the examples I have given here, aragonite, that is CaCO3, has 2.95, then another SiCO3 which has 3.76. Like we have so many minerals which has hardness, like cerussite, we have Pb ore, it is a Pb ore, lead ore, which has 6.55 because it is a metallic ore. You can see here metallic mineral, because of that it has high specific gravity compared to other. It is a non-metallic mineral, it is non-metallic mineral. It is also non-metallic mineral, beryllium carbonate, witherite, it has 4.29. The next property in mineral is habit or form. Habit or form. So habit or form is nothing but shape and size of the mineral. Shape and size of the mineral. So what is the shape and what is the size of the mineral is nothing but habit. So there are many forms of mineral, that may be acicular, capillary, filiform, bladed, dendritic, radiating, fibrous, grabular. There are many forms. So we'll see one by one with example. So first one is acicular. You can see acicular means what? Slender or needle like a nail. Nail like mineral is nothing but acicular form. Example is tourmaline or hornblende. These are rutile apatite. This mineral will show acicular. You can see this is a needle like mineral. Okay. Then next one is bladed, like a sharp blade. You can see here. This mineral is a kyanite mineral. Example, you can see kyanite. So this is a kyanite mineral which shows bladed shapes. That is nothing but bladed form. Bladed form. And next one is radiating. You can see here radiating mineral. So radiating means what? From a particular point you can see here, particular point, mineral will radiate from there. Mineral will radiate from there. This is nothing but radiating form. Here you can see, here also from one point it is radiating. The crystals of the mineral are getting radiated. So this is nothing but radiating form. And this is generally shown by zeolite, tremolite, talc also, pyrolusite, tourmaline. So these are the minerals which show radiating form. Next you can see dendritic. Dendritic means what? Branches without tree without leaves. You can say how you can see the tree without leaves. Without leaves, how the tree can be seen? Like that you can see the mineral will show the shape or size as well. So this type of shape or size is nothing but dendritic form. Generally this is shown by native metals like native copper is there. This is native copper, you can see here. This is native copper, this is native gold. This is shown by dendritic form, you can see. Then next one is fibrous. Fibrous means here you can see threads are there. In this particular mineral, threads can be taken out, or we can see the threads. That is nothing but fibrous form. Example is asbestos. Asbestos is the example for that. Next one is globular or coliform. You can see here. First one is botryoidal. Botryoidal form is a bunch of grapes. Bunch of grapes. How the bunch of grapes can be seen? That is nothing but botryoidal form. Example is pyrolusite. Next one is reniform. Reniform is kidney-like. How the kidneys can be kidney shape are there. Like this, the mineral shape will be there. You can see here. So this is nothing but reniform, and generally this type of forms are shown by hematite and malachite. Next one is important form is foliated. Foliated means what? It can be easily separated into plates or leaves, like how the book pages can be split. Like this, we can split the minerals as well. Like example, we have hematite, specular hematite. This is a specular hematite from which you can take out the slices you can say, or leaves. Then micaceous, there is a same property of foliated only, but for mica, especially for mica, they have given the micaceous form. It is same like split, but splits into very thin sheets, similar to foliated, but splits into very thin sheets. Then next one is tabular or laminar. Flat and plate-like surface, plate-like minerals are nothing but tabular or lamellar forms. Example is barytes and dolomite. Next one is granular, composed of many individual grains of similar size. So here you can see the mineral, that is garnet, which has, if you see carefully, microscopically, the grains which are arranged here are of equal size. Example, olivine and garnet. You can see the small grains are there of equal size, a similar size. Then we have next one is prismatic or columnar. So this looks like a column. How the columns will be there? Same like that, the minerals will be there. So that is nothing but columnar form. Example, you can see tourmaline is there, hornblende is there, apatite is there, and sometimes quartz also will be shown by a prismatic or columnar form. I hope you understood the habits or forms of mineral. So next, and I mean other properties than cohesive and elasticity and depending upon light are reaction. We can identify the mineral or mineral with hydrochloric acid, reaction with hydrochloric acid, especially carbonate minerals. If you want to find out the carbonate minerals in nature, just you have to take the HCl and take a drop of that HCl and drop on that particular mineral. If that mineral gives effervescence, that is bubbles after falling on that particular mineral, that is nothing but it is a carbonate mineral. So this is how we can identify the carbonate minerals. This another important property is there, that is very basic property, feel. So minerals are there which can be feel greasy, soapy, rough and harsh. Like example, soapy minerals will be like talc will be felt like soapy mineral. So that has soapy feel. So with the help of greasy are there, some minerals are like greasy. So that is nothing but greasy feel. So minerals are there which shows magnetic property. That means which attracts the magnet, that is but magnetic property. Example, we have magnetite and lodestone. Odor is nothing but smell. Some minerals are there which smells like arsen, we have odor of arsenical, sulfurous or argillaceous is clay like smell. Clay like smell is nothing but argillaceous. Then and if the smell is like garlic, that is arsenical is nothing but garlic smell. And sulfurous, like after burning the sulfur, how the sulfur, if you burn the sulfur, how it smells, like that. If you see this smell, that is called as sulfurous. Like example I can give you, pyrite will show you, if you burn the pyrite, it gives you sulfurous smell. So these are also the important properties of mineral, other properties of mineral. So I hope you understood all the properties of mineral. I'll show you some very beautiful minerals you can see here, which shows many important properties. Like you can see, this one is this is tourmaline, which shows columnar form, and vitreous luster. You can see here, you can see needle like, we can say acicular mineral, that is crocoite, okay, that is PbO. Then we have sphalerite, that is ZnS. This is sphalerite mineral which shows octahedral form, that is isometric system. Here you can see very beautiful radiating form mineral, that is zeolite. This is zeolite, you can see here. Here this is pyrite which shows golden color, and it is cubic in form, that is isometric system, and generally it is considered as fool's gold because it looks like gold but it is not gold, because it is made up of iron sulfide. You can see FeS2. Here you can see amethyst. Each crystal is of hexagonal system, which forms a cavity, which is variety of quartz. Very beautiful mineral. Then diamond, you can see it shows the octahedral form, isometric system, and which is associated with kimberlite rock. This is a black color rock, is kimberlite rock. Generally diamonds are associated with kimberlite rock. Here you can see how big amethyst is here. So in nature we'll get many such minerals which are big in size. And this one is opal. I told you play of color in properties depending upon light. So you can see how the different colors are there. This the mineral is opal. And this is a fluorite. You can see here how it is showing the isometric system or cubic system. So these are the very beautiful minerals I have shown you. There are many beautiful minerals. You can, if you search on net minerals, will get very beautiful minerals. Here you can see amethyst, another picture of amethyst. Here you can see disco ball. There is quartz variety. So that's it for today. I hope you understood physical properties of mineral depending upon light, and physical properties of mineral depending upon cohesive and elasticity. So that's it for today. See you in next class. Thank you.